of course, the photo ship cameraman on board. He's going to be Well, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Shuttleworth collection on the 22nd of May 2016. 70 years ago today, the first of 1,283 de Havilland Canada DHC-1 Chipmunk aircraft took to the air at Downsview, Toronto. We have a huge number of them here today, celebrating 70 years of a thoroughbred trainer. I hope you enjoyed the show. Walk amongst these magnificent aeroplanes.
Oh, we lost formation coming down. 2, 3.
Chipmunk! It works, doesn't it?
Hi, my name's Phil Derry. I'm a distant relative of John Derry, the guy that broke the sound barrier, and also did most of the trials on the AKDN, which is the oldest chipmunk in the world. I remember him flying as a 5-year-old boy at Church Fenton, the year that he died. And then many years later, somebody rang me up when I'd had a few beers and said, would I like to buy John Derry's aeroplane? We did. We took it home, didn't tell the wife. She found out about it at a barbecue that I bought a chipmunk, which she thought was a pet. We owned the plane for 3 years, just to look after it for a while, and then we sold it to Dave and James, who live in Canada, and they've done a fantastic job, and they've brought it back to the UK.
Yeah, hello, my name's Dave Gillespie. I'm from Saskatoon, Saskatchewan, Canada, and I'm here at Old Warden with my wife Karen. We've brought GAKDN back from Canada to participate in the 70th anniversary celebration for the Chipmunk. And KDN being the oldest flying aircraft and one of the early prototypes, we thought it would be appropriate to have it here. And we shipped it over, originally we bought it from Phil Derry up in the North Yorkshire and took it to Canada 14 years ago and preserved it back to its original appearance that it was built like. And had a lot of fun times in Canada. We flew it across country over to the 65th anniversary at the factory where it was built in Downsview, and did that a couple times. And we've been working on for the past year to plan to get it over here. We created it up in November of 15, shipped it to Yorkshire again and had it reassembled, and we came over in this spring and picked it up, and here we are. We're just so glad to be here. Met some wonderful people and a beautiful facility in the collection. KDN feels right at home here.
Well, look at that. Here you are back together again after...
It's wonderful.
Isn't that something?
And I got the flag.
Want to start? Okay. Towards me, please, ladies and gentlemen.
I'm Sonia Fillingham. I'm the widow of Pat Fillingham, who did the original flying on the Chipmunk in Canada. And this is one of the 9th originals, which we used to race and won the King's Cup in 1953. And it's absolutely extraordinary to see so many, and particularly to see KDN that Pat and I used to race. And it gives me a huge feeling of nostalgia to see it looking so wonderful. I'd like to take it home.
Brilliant. I know.
My name is Squadron Leader Michael Neal, RAF retired. I learned to fly the Chipmunk in 1952 as basic training, and I think having spent 50 years in uniform, I've flown the Chipmunk throughout those 50 years, and I still fly it today. Most exciting part of flying Chipmunk there was my 2 tours in Berlin, where I flew throughout the Berlin control zone on covert operations, basically photographing Soviet installations, which was very exciting and very rewarding. And I had the opportunity to do that on 2 tours. So I actually spent 7 years in Berlin. But coming back to England, I was the commanding officer of number 6 Air Experience Flight, where we had 7 Chipmunks, and we flew many hours, many ATC cadets, and again it was great fun. And I'm sure throughout that time we inspired a lot of young lads to take up flying and indeed go into the Royal Air Force. So for me, the Chipmunk is very deeply set in my heart, because I love the Chipmunk. It is such a beautifully designed airplane. The controls are so well harmonized. It is just magnificent to fly. So I really do love that Chipmunk. And today, this gathering has been very special, and it was a delight for me to be here on such a wonderful day. Thanks.
Hello, my name's Tony Cowan, and I'm delighted to be here at the 70th anniversary, to the day, the 70th birthday of the de Havilland of Canada Chipmunk, which first flew in Downsview, Toronto, on this day 70 years ago. And why am I here? Well, I've got a bit of a love affair with chipmunks, like a lot of other people. And I was privileged when I was in the Royal Air Force to take 2 chipmunks and fly them around the world in 1997. We went from Cranwell down to London City Airport and then flew across Europe, Russia, the Bering Strait, Alaska, Canada, across the Atlantic via Greenland, Iceland, the Faroes, and back to Cranwell, where we'd started off from. It was an expeditionary flight that we'd imagined would take us about 6 weeks, and to be honest, it took us 9. And we were delayed by a number of reasons, the weather principally, because we were strictly VFR. And I could never have imagined that almost 20 years on, I'm standing here today surrounded by chipmunks. Sadly, not my chipmunk. My chipmunk's in the RAF Museum at Hendon. Our other chipmunk that flew around the world, mine was Charlie, the other one was Hotel. She's in California, but can you believe it? The owner of Hotel, a Brit living in California, is here today, and I've met him, and he's shown me photographs of that round the world chipmunk. So I know where both of them are, and they've been very well looked after, and they're a credit to the manufacturer and to the Royal Air Force.
Well, hello, my name is David Higgins. Background is I'm a commercial rotary helicopter pilot, offshore, Pumas and big stuff like that. Not the fixed wing item until a few years back. I'm current on Chipmunk, but this, as you'll see behind me, is something a little bit different. This isn't an airworthy Chipmunk, this is a passion of mine, which is the restoration of a Chipmunk cockpit section. This particular aircraft, WB-560, was one of the oldest Chipmunks here at Shuttleworth today. It was one of the first 8 to enter service with the Royal Air Force and served for 44 years before being written off in 1994. The aim of bringing it down here really is today is for the public to actually see inside a Chipmunk without having to go airside. So the aircraft is pretty much complete now. It is a labour of love. There's a few items still to do. Managed to trace the history of the aircraft, and it's been amazing because so many people today have come along and said the Chipmunk, that was our first taste of flying as an air cadet. So really for them it's a nostalgia thing. They can look inside and they can smell that cockpit smell from a Chipmunk. So we're very pleased to be here at the Shuttleworth collection today with WB-560.
Hello, I'm Steve LE-VIEN. I'm one of the volunteer air traffickers here at Shuttleworth Old Warden and one of the organisers of this wonderful 70th anniversary of the first flight of the de Havilland Chipmunk. We've had a great day. We've had 47 chipmunks on the ground, plus another 2 that flew over, 20 other aircraft, and a really good day. I'd like to thank everyone who's helped us with this great event.